What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we are going to be doing a mock on Sports Illustrated's brand new mock draft, as well as continuing it for a round two. So stay tuned for that because it's always fun to be able to continue these. Kind of like my little twist on the series, since it's kind of not my original idea to do this series. Still awesome to give feedback on mocks though. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below, and then feel free to join the Discord. Over 130 people there, 140, 150. God only knows at this point. It's awesome down there. As well as if you guys like TikTok, I do exclusive videos over there where I do some other rankings lists. So feel free to check that out. Starting off with the number one overall pick. Just remember, I did not create this draft order. The Will Andersons go out Atlanta Falcons. No, the Falcons go Will Anderson here. And if this is the case, I assume Desmond Ridder is going to be given one more shot. I talked about this in my mock draft, which you guys can just watch, released a couple days ago. It was essentially like if you miss out on a quarterback in this class, which people are saying it's a good quarterback class, the year following, you still have Caleb Williams, you still have Quinn Ewers, and then other guys will be showing up there as well. So there's hope. You don't have to hit on a QB this draft. Don't force a pick. If you think Desmond Ridder could be the guy, I would definitely go after Will Anderson right here. Again, BPA usually outplays the rest because that's why the Browns were essentially a quarterback away from being able to be dropped in and be successful. So, sometimes need isn't always the best thing in the world because every single year your team evolves and free agency can fix that. And then draft can as well. And you just want to get your best player available. So, number two, the Texans. You got CJ Stroud here. Again, we'll see tonight. So he plays his first game tonight, but we'll see if he is end of the year CJ Stroud or versus Penn State CJ Stroud. There's a big difference to me in those two. And I'm worried that the Penn State CJ Stroud, who was absolutely dog water, we'll be polite. We'll be polite today. It's a nice weekend. If he's complete cheeks, better, then essentially he's just not going to be able to play that way in the NFL. And I'm praying that he is Utah/Michigan State CJ and not Penn State CJ because honestly, you think about it, ain't nobody going to take CJ Stroud over Justin Fields the way that Justin Fields was at Ohio State. I'm sorry. You can't say that. If you are, then you're being completely using like hindsight bias here. CJ Stroud's a far worse prospect than Justin Fields was at Ohio State. And like we're still hailing CJ Stroud as the next coming of Jesus. I still have a late first on him. Don't get me wrong. I still think he is worth taking in this round. However, stop the hype, stop the praise until he continues to prove it and proves that he's better than the guy who can't play right now in the NFL. New York Jets going Jalen Carter here. I do like the idea because, again, you are getting best player available. You lost fully Fatukasi over free agency, so this replaces him, gets a guy locked into the lineup. I think that's a very good idea for you guys. Jalen Carter's number 6 on my draft board, so getting him locked into this team, kind of a must. I think that's a good one. Number 4, we got the Seahawks going Bryce Young. If you're sitting at number 4, that's fine. Again, you can take a shot. I don't really see the Seahawks as a team that should be trying to get quarterback at their first pick because I don't really trust their ability. I see the guys who are more high floor guys having a bigger impact for this team. They got lucky with Russell Wilson. Regardless, if you go Bryce Young, I'm never going to complain. I think that the value of quarterback down at your second pick, which to be fair, I was they're a little bit higher in the Broncos position than I am. I have the Broncos around, I think, 18 or 19, versus this, I think, around 22, 23. Then that's a reasonable calculation. For me, I had the Seahawks at 1. So Will Anderson was worth it to me. I think Myles Murphy is better than Bryce Young in terms of value, especially when you look at the guys who would be there at, for my instance, pick 18, but here pick 23. But yeah, Bryce Young, really good player. I think that would be a good move. I just think Myles Murphy is just a one-of-one style talent. Bears going Keishon Butte. They do need the help. I go Peter Skoronski at this point, though. Probably one of my regrets from my mock draft is not putting Peter Skoronski there at number 2 because Edge has some really good players, some really good role players in round 2. Number 6, the Jaguars going JSN. I guess they're trying to replace Laviska Shenault's supposed role with a guy who's supposed to be better than Laviska. I think it's okay. Obviously, Mark, take a shot, but Mark is a sub of the channel. We talk about this all the time. It's like take a shot for every time a wide receivers for the Jags in round 1. Yeah, JSN, I don't think he's worth a top 10 pick unless he's going to the Patriots. And I explained that over in the mock draft, but essentially I think that he fits the best with the Patriots. I have a late one on JSN. I don't really think he's that special. He's not athletically talented like a lot of people say he is. It's complete cheeks of an argument because he got caught up to by a guy who ran 4.53. And if you're giving ground like that, most likely you're going to be in like the 4.55 to 4.6 range. And that's just not an elite wide receiver. For a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who could pretty much hit any point in the field, I don't think you're getting your best value with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And next, you got the Lions going Will Levis here. I don't have Will Levis in my top 60. Don't think he's good. He is a guy with a big arm that has thrown 15 big time throws last year. And I think he had something like 11 interceptions, if not more. And he couldn't beat out Sean Clifford. So, again, I don't have faith in Will Levis. I would love to be proven wrong. I would. I don't care. I don't care about being right. That's something that I guess a lot of people in this industry have like an arrogance to them because they want to be right. I don't want to be right. I wish I were right, but I don't want to be right about players that I think are not good because watching fun football is a lot more valuable to me than being correct. And that's why I also ask you guys for feedback because, again, like being correct about the truth versus being correct about my opinion, I think those are two different things. I would love for them to line up, but right now, I just don't believe in Will Levis, and I would love to be proven wrong. Myles Murphy, I have him as my number 1 player in the draft. I think he's an absolute freak, and I just really think people need to hop on the hype train. They do. He's a monster. Anthony Richardson for the Giants. I think that this is phenomenal. It's what I did myself, and I guess that spoiled it for the mock draft, so RIP Giants fans. But essentially, he like Brian Dable is used to pretty much developing super powerful cannon arm athletes into superstar quarterbacks. Obviously, it's been like mentioning the most recent success in Josh Allen, but I think Anthony Richardson's my QB1. If he goes, like, assuming he goes to the right system, he's my QB1 by a long shot. Commanders going Keely Ringo. I think this is a solid move, but I would go quarterback if you're at number 10. I don't care how devoted you are to Carson Wentz. The simple truth is that your team is good enough to win. And like, again, you could talk about like saying, hey, honestly, I don't think we should go QB because of the fact that, we have Sam Howell on the roster. Who was my number 2 quarterback last year? Fluctuated between 1 and 2, which is a big surprise. But that is okay. I guess that's true. You could say that. But it just really depends on how the organization feels about Sam Howell. Again, they didn't spend a 3rd, they didn't spend a 4th, they spent a 5th round pick on him. So there's not really much attached, but I hope that I was right in that aspect, as well as like Mike Renner, etc., that he was probably the best in the class. But Keely Ringo is a good option here. He's a phenomenal player, and you really do need that oomph on the outside. Steelers going Skoronski. I do believe he's probably going to end up being a top 3 player in the class when all is said and done. I was a notorious Peter Skoronski hater, but that was because he was 297 pounds. He's 315 now, has a lot better anchor, and he's improved technically as well. So, again, just like I was about Jordan Davis, when he lost all that weight, he looked really good in shape, and he performed incredibly at the combine. I'm more than happy saying, hey, I think that you did a great job developing yourself. You deserve all the credit in the world. That's more than fine. So Skoronski jumped from number 27 to I think like number 7 on my board. I think he's doing a very good job. And the Steelers could definitely use it. Patriots going Paris Johnson here. Again, I think that he's a guard. I don't think he has the power to be a tackle. However, I'm very excited to see him prove me wrong. Again, I want an Ohio State offensive lineman to actually pop off for NFL scouts. And I don't think Paris Johnson was I think he was on par with Nicholas Petit-Frere. And we'll see if he's able to be better than him. I think he could, but not from what I saw last year. Kind of more so for hope. Vikings going Nolan Smith. This is absolutely butt cheeks. Sorry, I'm just gonna be honest. The Vikings do not need more pass rush, to be honest. And Nolan Smith, if he puts on 10 pounds and can actually affect a blocker when he engages with them, sure. But this man only wins by beating somebody with speed more than anything. He's ineffective in the run game, ineffective when an offensive lineman gets his hands on him. And he's one hell of a worker. I love his motor and his athleticism's through the roof. But the simple fact is, he is Mr. I run around you. He's not better than Azeez Ojulari. He's not better than any other Georgia edge that's come out recently. So I don't really understand the hype. He's my number 100 player in the draft. Call me a hater on that one. Again, I just think that he's extremely ineffective when it comes to actually engaging with real players who can block. And that's what happens at the next level. You can get around some slow ass tackles in college, but when you actually get locked in with an offensive tackle, there are guys, including somebody who's 10 pounds heavier than him, who's being drafted number 1 overall, who is way more effective, way more strong. So I don't really exactly want to hear that I'm a hater against Nolan Smith. You just need to see it on the field. And if you do anything except just run around a guy, I'm willing to give a shot. But yeah, I mean, like you have to be able to actually block shed. Even at that low weight, you have to show that you have that ability. Cam Smith for the Raiders, I think that's great because they don't even have Trayvon Mullen anymore. But I don't even know if they have Darius Phillips anymore. I think they do. No, do they? I swear to God, I thought they cut Darius Phillips too. Regardless, they have Rock Ya-Sin, Anthony Averett, and apparently they're all up for free agency. They need help. I really don't believe in the Raiders this year. I think this is a fair estimation of where they're going to be. Corner is a good spot. I have Cam Smith as a second, but again, whatever. If you really like him, go for it. This is a really good DB class. Again, we have really poor journalism here. Again, because there's 2 interior defensive linemen that are both extremely big impacts for the Eagles up for free agency. We are definitely going to draft another defensive tackle in the first round. It's complete bullshit, guys. They're either going to bring Hargrave back on a 1-year deal or Fletcher Cox back on one more 1-year deal, or they're going to let their other guys develop here. Why the hell would you waste one of your free first round picks on a player where their position alone is not very valuable? Jordan Davis was a 1 of 1. Like, you just don't find guys who are like that size, speed, power. Brian Breesy, I'm sorry, he is not that good. And I'm, again, very happy to be proven wrong here. But when I watched his tape, he looked lazy. He didn't look explosive the way I wanted him to. And, to justify a defensive lineman and interior at this stage, you have to pop off. You really do. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be digging through the 2020 or 2019 tape or 2020 tape to be able to see anything that you have, because honestly, you have tape this past year and it wasn't good. I'm gonna be honest. I still have an early third on him. I'm not trying to rip this guy to shreds, but Jesus, people were saying he's a top 5 pick. And I'm like, get the hell out of here, man. This idea that a defensive tackle who is not elite in anything is going to be drafted this highly, not exactly going to be doesn't line up, doesn't compute. Texans going Isaiah Foskey. I'm not a huge fan of him. Again, I think that there's a better player with his exact size and weight combination in this class. His name's Jarrell Shami, who can play the pass rush as well, the run game, probably better than Foskey can. I don't see it, but again, more than willing to be proven wrong. I didn't like him last year. Don't really like him this year. So there we go. Tennessee's going Michael Mayer. I think that's a great option. Great blocker, as well as a guy to get the ball in space. I don't think he's a good separator. I have him as a 2nd round pick, but again, for a team like the Titans where you need to just hit on somebody, I think this or Eric Gilbert would be a great option. Cardinals going Eli Ricks. They still need corner help. I think that would be a solid option. I would say Ricks is more of just a pure zone corner. And I don't think that really fits with the mantra of the Cardinals. You guys can, again, tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I think Eli Ricks would be a good fit for the Texans. I think he could be a good fit for the Steelers, for the Eagles, but not for the Cardinals. There's a lot better man corners in this class. Bengals going Eric Gilbert here. I think that'd be a great option. You do need another explosive weapon at the tight end position and, continue getting mismatches. Offensive line still could be somebody you can go after like Voorhees or somebody like that to secure a guard spot long term because realistically, your free agents aren't exactly elite talents at the guard spot, but that's a nitpick more than anything. Eric Gilbert, super high ceiling player. He's still lower on my board because of the fact that he hasn't played in a minute, but the guy has a lot of potential. Antonio Johnson for the Eagles. Love it. Yes. Somebody who can play safety, someone who can play slot, someone who can play boundary. This guy can do it all. I'm pretty sure I did that as well for him, as well for the Eagles. Maybe. No, I didn't. I got Ringo as well as Bijan. But I love the move. Love it. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Colts going Christian Gonzalez. I think that's great. Apparently, I did not know that he clocked in like that. Hot damn. So I'm a big fan of Christian Gonzalez. I have him number 25 on my board. I did not know he ran 23.3. That is freaking, no pun intended, ridiculous with a 42 vert. Yeah, I think he'd be a great understudy for Stephon. Yes. Dallas Cowboys going Trent Simpson. I don't think that's a great move. Apparently, he runs a 40-yard dash on the high 4.3s. He's a great athlete. But what matters, 90% of the game is between the helmet. And I don't think he's developed there. I really don't. So I don't know if the Cowboys really have time to develop that. I also think the Cowboys are going to be drafting a lot earlier than this. Don't at me. But it is the way it is. Ravens going Jordan Addison after they just traded away, essentially, Jordan Addison. I think that's a wrong move for the franchise. They've proven time and time again, regardless of the talent, that small receivers just don't work. That's just the truth. They don't work with the Ravens. And you just can't continue forcing it. Sometimes BPA is not BPA for your team. And it's just proven time and time again. That's the truth. Seahawks going Noah Sewell. I love it. Big fan of that. Miami Dolphins going Bijan makes no sense because, again, McDaniels made progress with the guys who are in the later rounds. But Broshmo and I just did a mock draft, and I went after one in the second, and it still felt a little bit wrong. But, I felt like it was a good move. But, at this point, Bijan is a stud. I don't really think that the Dolphins should be spending this pick. They should trade back with the team that's like, oh my God, I need Bijan. That's true. But I really don't feel like the Dolphins system fits Bijan the best. And I was the one who drafted Bijan to the Dolphins originally. Chargers going Quentin Johnston here. That's going to be interesting. So obviously you're trying to replace Keenan Allen in the long run. Mike Williams, he has a couple-year contract. So interesting to see because there's a lack of legit speed on the outside. I think he could be like 4.45, but I really like Quentin Johnston. It's just weird to think of him on the Chargers roster. Packers going Tyree Wilson. He wouldn't have gotten drafted even if he wasn't drafted there. So far, I haven't been a big fan of him. People who I trust aren't a big fan of him. We're going to do another deep dive on him, so we'll see from there. Andre Carter, I have a top 15 grade on. I think he's a freak. I hate to see him on the Lions because of the fact that there's so many dudes there, but I honestly can't complain. It's a good player. Chiefs going Jalen Duncan. He's a little bit overrated at this point. I think someone saw him on Jordan Reed's mock and all of a sudden trying to hop on this dude. Just leaving it there. Pause. But yeah, I think Jalen Duncan's a bit overrated. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Buccaneers going Joey Porter here. I don't think he fits their system, but I love Joey Porter. Obviously, I've told you guys he's a top 10 player on my board. I think he's like number 6 right now. Not sure. Maybe no, that's Jalen Carter. He's like number 8. He's in the top 10. But he showed out the other night. He had some really good plays. And then the Bills going Brian Branch. I think that might be the best pick for them in the entire draft. I think that's phenomenal. Or Voorhees because they need guard help. But Brian Branch, you don't need more safety help on this team, man. They do need it. But just stop being that good. But let's kick right into round 2. Obviously, everything's already been updated. Yes, PFF is complete garbage when it comes to having guys on here, but they're one of the few that allow you to reorganize the draft order, and they actually make it look pretty nice. Pick number 32, we have the Falcons on the board, and we've already decided. Let's go Will Anderson. Let's just stick with Desmond Ridder. So I can't go after Tyler Van Dyke, who I have as the number 3 quarterback in the class. which sucks because I think that'd be a great option. But I think you could look at a potential tackle here. Just bring in some competition would not be bad. They did that in free agency, kind of with the guys who got released. I think they claimed Chuma Doga, and that's a really good option for them to try at right tackle. So far, actually, so I was completely wrong about Broderick Jones. I was tripping up with him and McClendon. He's a true left tackle. I don't know why I was thinking he's played snaps at right. I think he played like 10 snaps at right last year. But he could do it. Georgia trains all their guys really well to be versatile. I don't think corner or tackle is the right position there. I think corner is, though. You obviously have AJ Terrell, who is a lockdown man on his own, but you brought in Casey Hayward as your corner too. It was pretty obvious that everyone was saying, hey, let's get Derek Stingley at number 8 overall. Obviously, he wasn't there, but I think going after someone like Garrett Williams would be great. I think he's one of the best man coverage corners in this draft, and he does fit pretty well. Granted, I do like how AJ Terrell gets sticky. And Tyreek Stevenson, to me, he's a first rounder. So I have Garrett Williams like number 12, and I have Tyreek Stevenson at number 24 on my board. Huge fan of Tyreek Stevenson. I think he fits better. He's going to run in the 4.4s as well. He's 212 pounds at 6 foot. I'm going to go with him. Again, you could choose whichever one you want because I can guarantee you both of them are going to be gone soon. But Tyreek Stevenson's a baller, man. Big fan of him. For this pick, I'm going Jermaine Burton, though. I really like, if you're getting CJ Stroud, you need to start putting some good weapons around him. And I think Jermaine Burton's a great, great, great fit. The Jets don't really need much except linebacker. I think that would be a good move to go. And Henry To'oTo'o is on the board. I think you should just take a shot on him. I really do. Offensive line's another spot you could have gone, but again, we're trying to change it up here too. I go tackle for him every freaking draft. Linebacker is a necessity. Henry To'oTo'o is, I think, arguably as good, if not better, than Trent Simpson. So, given the fact Trent Simpson went 10 picks ago or 11, makes sense. Then you have the Seahawks here. You actually have your tackles lined up, but I'm actually going to do something very polite for the 190-pound quarterback in your backfield. We're going to stick to the West Coast and get Andrew Voorhees to play that guard role. I think that's just going to be the best way for you to continue developing your roster. They got Noah Sewell as well, didn't they? So yeah, we're sticking to technically still the Pac-12, but soon to be Big Ten. Batshit crazy, I'm saying that. But Andrew Voorhees, great pick there. For the Bears, I think a tackle makes sense. Broderick Jones is a monster. Anton Harrison is a monster. Pick whichever one you want because the next team who'd get another tackle will get the other one. I'm going to go Broderick Jones here. Again, I think that would be good with more of honestly, both were pretty mobile. Regardless, choose whoever the hell you want. It's great. They're both great players. Pick 37 with the Jaguars. You went Kayshon Boutte. Just kidding. That was to the Bears. You went after Jackson Smith and Jigba in the first. Oof. I mean, I actually don't really know where to go with this pick. If Voorhees were on the board, I'd go with him. I don't really think there's many positions you exactly need, though. Like, legitimately, tight end is probably the next one that I'd go after. And honestly, this would be kind of fun. Sam Laporta actually kind of reminds me of Dallas Goedert. And I believe that Peterson was there when Goddard was drafted. I'm a huge fan of Sam Laporta. I know you brought Evan Engram in, so that's why I was like Jaheim Bell, but that's very similar to Evan Engram. Sam Laporta is a great blocker as well. I really do think people are sleeping on him. He's my number 1 tight end in the class. Only one with a first-round grade, so yeah, keep your eyes out for him. I think he's an absolute beast. Now, for the Lions, you've gone edge rusher and quarterback. I think getting DBs still is a position to go after. Garrett Williams is just too good to pass on. I know linebackers in need. There's nobody left. Nobody. So I'm sorry about the Will Levis move. I wouldn't go it myself, but you at least got Andre Carter, who's good. That's a plus. The Panthers. If you guys are sitting here, did you guys go a quarterback earlier? No, you went Miles Murphy. We're going Tyler Van Dyke. Yeah, he's my number 3 quarterback in the class. I think he'd be a great fit. So let's rock with it. Yeah, none of these teams would need a quarterback. I'm just like double checking to see. It's like, oh, did I fuck up? For the Giants. So you guys went after Anthony Richardson. Love it. Big fan. I think that You could try to continue bolstering the interior offensive line, but your cornerback room has thinned out a lot. So looking at the guys here, my number one corner is still on the board. I think he'd be a good fit. He's not actually listed here, which is really irritating. It actually is. But his name is Jalen Jones, corner out of Texas A&M. We're going to go Noah Daniels here, but you guys know it's not Noah Daniels, it's Jalen Jones. He's just a freak. I really do love Jalen Jones. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. Super smart. Like, he'll recognize a play developing behind him when he's not even assigned to it. Like, just that type of talent. Big fan of that. Pick number 41. Washington's here. I am considering going Tanner McKee to bring in and challenge Sam Howell. But let's see the other positions available. That's my number one pick right now. Anton Harrison's still on the board. Jesus. I know a team that I might send him to, and it might still be the Steelers. I might just say, just totally screw over like a Takuma Korafor and just go Anton Harrison here. I might actually do that. That sounds like a dream to me, because there's no more corners on the board for the Steelers. But I mean, honestly, like for Washington, I don't really find a guy on here that I'm super stoked about. So I'm going to go BPA. That's Tanner McKee. He's a first-round quality quarterback. He beat cancer at 16. Really good locker room presence as well. Like, he's a fighter. Bring him in. He and Sam Howell can dish it out. If one of them fails, trade him away the next year. Again, it's a second-round pick and a fifth. Like, if one of them looks really good or both of them look really good, awesome. If none of them look good, oh well. Like, you're still at pick 10 in the first place. Steelers, though, I'm heavily tempted to go tackle here. I don't think it would be out of the question either, because the offensive line, Takuma Korafor is just not good. We gave him a big contract just because we didn't want to have nobody at right tackle. And I'd be willing to put Skoronski, honestly, at right tackle. Skoronski's shown that he can develop a lot over the season. I think Anton Harrison's the move. I really do. Because, again, look at the corners. Like, I'm not going to get any of these guys. Clark Phillips is a slot. You could do that, actually, if Cam Sutton doesn't want to remain on roster. That is a possibility. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm going to go best player available. Call me crazy. I'm going 2 offensive linemen. Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. You need to get that right. You really have to. And the running back's good. The wide receivers are good. The tight end is good. The quarterback's looking good. The defense, again, you just need corners as well as safety. But I honestly think you're fine for the time being. Patriots are on the board. Also, another reason you didn't want Anton Harrison past you is because the Patriots snag him up. But Patriots here, honestly, let's see the edge rusher still on the board. I think that would be a good option for them. BJ Ojolari's here. Darrell Shami is here. I'm going to go Darrell Shami. He doesn't rank higher than BJ on my list, but I really just have this gut feeling that Bill Belichick's going to just love Darrell Shami. Wide receiver should be a position to target. I don't think that there's a true X here besides, no pun intended, Xavier Hutchinson. And I don't know if that's Bill Belichick's type of guy. 44 for the poor Vikings, who got Nolan Smith in the first round. I do apologize for that, just from the bottom of my heart. This is a position where I could end up actually looking at someone like Clark Phillips and being like, you know what? You're worth it to me. You can play slot, you can play boundary. Technically, you can play safety too. But let's look at the safeties. Let's see who's here. Not a fan of Brandon Joseph right now. You guys know me. I was Brandon Joseph's number 1 fan of all time. He was number 5 on my board last year. But, I don't see anybody that's good here. Jordan Battle's pretty I'm going to be honest. He's pretty underwhelming. And again, I was a big Jordan Battle fan. I'm going to go Clark Phillips. I think he can play anywhere on the defense. He's really more of a Swiss Army knife. Doesn't exactly fit. He has a good feel for the field. Doesn't exactly fit that man coverage desire that you have, but that's something that could be more so developed. Sense of awareness for the field, not so much. So I do like Clark Phillips. If I'm not mistaken, he locked down Drake London too. So big fan of that. Pick number 45 for the Raiders. You went after a corner round 1. Let's look at which offensive linemen are available here, because you guys need help. I'm going to go Layden Robinson. You have nothing on the interior. I think that's a great move for you guys overall. You just have to continue developing, and it's a need. It's a need, man. Pick number 46. This is actually going to be Chris Abrams' drain, most likely. Slot corner is slash safety is something that you guys have kind of missed out on. Chris Abrams' drain is my number 32 player in the draft. And yeah, he's going to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's role. And he's so good. He, for 177 pounds, the guy's a beast. Big fan of him. The Browns are on the board, still looking for a long-term answer at edge. And I think training BJ Ojolari or Zion Tupuola-Vatui is the best move. We're going to go with BJ because I think he'll get a little bit more hype since Aziz has been doing really well. But I think, honestly, it doesn't matter because I'm going to go edge for the Titans as well with Zion Tupuola-Vatui. Unfortunately, you have, why am I tripping on his name? Harold Landry just tore his ACL. That's not good. Getting Zion Tupuola-Vatui, getting ZTF in there might be what you really need to make sure everybody is healthy. Pick number 49. I wish there were linebackers in this class, but there's not. I'm going after another first-round player that I have, Gervon Dexter. Helping out that interior is a must, and this guy is a freak. Pick 50 with the Dolphins. There's no more offensive tackles I'd really want. Blake Freeland, potentially, but that's like actually, no. There is somebody who I'd want here. He plays left tackle, but I really do think he can move to right. We're going to be selecting, it's going to say Zion Nelson, but we're selecting Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. I do think that he is worth a second-round pick, and I think that you could move him over to right tackle. So continue taking shots on O-line. I think that's one of the best things you can do. Bengals on the board. I talked about going offensive line earlier. John Michael Schmitz is okay. There's some things I did like about his game, but overall I was left more so unimpressed. Tight end, I think, would have been a good move, but they already took that move from me, bastards. So when I look at it, there's not really much I actually want to improve upon. Let's go safety here. Let's test it out. Jalen Catalon is a really good addition to this team. He flies everywhere. I know that you just got Dax Hill, but he's a slot corner safety hybrid. I think Jalen Catalon is just someone who can roam the field and do anything. So as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be awesome. The Eagles are on the board, and you guys have went Antonio Johnson. God help us, Brian Breesy. He wouldn't even make it into this. Y'all know that. But I'm going to go Derek Hall here. Edge rusher was a position you were trying to target with your third first-round pick before getting A.J. Brown. So Derek Hall, somebody who could be a big win for you guys there. The Colts wide receiver still is on my list for him. And we're gonna say Tyler Harrell here, but it's gonna be Xavier Hutchinson. It's just another one of my guys. It looks like they like the receiver that I do. I have Alec Pierce as my number 5 wide receiver last year. He ended up going actually around where I thought he should go. So I'm gonna go Xavier Hutchinson here, 6'3", really good wide receiver out of Iowa State. He's just super dynamic, and I think he'd be a great addition to the squad. Pick number 54 for the Cowboys, also stolen from the Cowboys because I would love to go that for them. I think A.T. Perry could be fun for this team. He really could. That might be where I go. But you went Trent Simpson in the first round. Offensive line still is a huge need. And looking at it, let's see if there's anybody good here. I'm trying to think back to my actual rankings because, Javon Foster would be fun. Doesn't fit the Cowboys scheme. Blake Freeland had one of the best offensive run blocking grades. We're going to go with him. I think he could kick inside as well. I have, I think, a 3rd or 4th on Blake Freeland. Honestly, we're closing in on the 3rd anyway, and you need offensive line help. He's really good in the run, so I think that'd be a good sign. Pick number 15 for the Ravens. Again, a team that needs absolutely nothing. We can go wide receiver here, and we'll go A.T. Perry. We're going to go receiver. We're going to give Lamar a huge-ass contract. Hell, let's give him a big-ass 6'5" receiver. Now you have Jordan Addison, A.T. Perry, Rashad Bateman out there, Mark Andrews. Hell, who was the tight end last year? Oh, I'm tripping from Coastal. Regardless, Isaiah Likely. you guys are set up. There's no excuses for Lamar now. He has his contract, he has his line, he has his receivers. There's just nothing that you could really complain about. Pick 56 for the Seahawks. Did we already go edge for them? So what do we go with in the first place? We went Andrew Voorhees, we went Noah Sewell, and then we also went Bryce Young. If you see another name in there that doesn't match up with the pick, it's because PFF doesn't have it. Edge rusher is a position I would be interested in targeting. I think going defensive line is never a bad thing. Zach Harrison, I don't usually put him into this range, but I'm actually gonna go Felix Anudike Uzama out of Realism. A lot of people are very high on him. I have a early fourth, but a team like the Seahawks could definitely take advantage of somebody of his caliber. Niners, I've been doing this for a long time. Javon Foster fits perfectly. I think that's his dream fit, is a wide zone blocking scheme. Super good at that, but took him a little while to get that start in. For the Chargers, wow, running backs have not come off the board until now. The Chargers, you got in Sony Michel. Now you have Quentin Johnston. Linebacker would be a place I would want to look, but not available at the moment. Sean Tucker is a guy who I'm trying to target here, and he is the guy who I'm going to draft. Sean Tucker's a freak. I think you just have to start addressing that at some point with a long-term answer and a long-term compliment to Austin Eckler. Pick number 59 for the Packers. Who'd y'all get in the first place? I said Nick Herbig, but I know it's Tyree Wilson because, again, they don't have him in here. You went edge. I think that you could go tight end here. I think that'd be a great spot, actually. I think, honestly, the Chargers could have went that way. Jaheim Bell would be so freaky. I would love that. He's an H-back tight end who's just like really good with the ball in his hands. He ended off the year incredibly, I think, in his bowl game. So good for him. Rams. What can we get the Rams? Rams need offensive line. There's no way I'm getting Robert Scott here. I do like Robert Scott. I think he'd be a great day one plug-in, but I got to go BPA for this team. Let's see who's available. Let's see who's good. Nobody really. That's the funny part. Justin Flores played one game. Honestly, you only live once, right? Let's do it. Actually, hold up. Caillou Blue Kelly's on the board. Your corner core is old as hell. And then with Jalen Ramsey, like, that's the only thing keeping it up. Caillou Blue Kelly would be a great addition. I totally forgot about him. Pick number 61 with the Chiefs. You went after a offensive tackle in round one, Jalen Duncan. Oh, we're going to go running back. Going to Devon A-Chain, 4.24 speed. You really need just some extra juice in that offense. So praying to God. Why? What is wrong? There's nothing wrong. Okay, well, let's just assume this is not going to actually draft Devon A-Chain because life is just like that right now. The Buccaneers, for them, they already went corner with Joey Porter. I would go running back, and that running back probably would be Zach Evans or Jahmyr Gibbs. But honestly, they could use a receiving back, so I probably would go to Jahmyr Gibbs. Ending off the draft with the Bills, who already got Brian Branch. And honestly, when I'm thinking about what I would want to do for them, I'd probably want to go after a guard, and I'm going to go Osiris Torrance, who I'm a huge fan of, big fan of him as a mean run blocking guard. So that's going to be the draft, guys. I know PFF screws us over again, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.